We are back in Austin today. We're gonna do a little Austin musical tribute vlog today. I noticed somebody on the side of this, looks like a barn, made a Before I Die chalkboard. And people have filled in various things they want to do before they die. Travel around the world. Yep, been doing that. Be at peace, yeah, I guess I could vote for that one too. Make my mom proud. Go to Japan. It's kind of a cool idea. You can come by and add your own, I guess. I think I'll skip that one. They're definitely keeping Austin weird. Love more. And here on the side of this pizza place, we've got a Willie Nelson for President mural, which I love. And it's kind of funny to think of. I mean, he's kind of known as being this long-haired, braided-haired hippie country music star, but the guy really does have great ideas. He was born in a farming community, and he's created something called Bio Willie that he runs his own tour bus on. So he does have some great ideas. There's a reason that they have this here. He has a great history in Austin. When he couldn't really make it the way he wanted to in Nashville, he ended up coming back to Texas and just playing beer joints. So he went and was selling songs in Nashville, and he was actually the bass player for Ray Price's touring band, but his records particularly weren't selling. He could sell out any kind of live show he played, but he just wasn't selling out what he wanted to as far as records. So he decided after his house burned down that that was a sign that they should just go back to Texas and play the juke joints, and they did. Smile even if you don't want to. So things are pretty lively in Austin today. You can see we got a drummer out here. We've got a cupcake Airstream. Then I want to go over and get a closer look at that place. Lucy in Disguise with Diamonds. What do we have going on over there? Take a look at this. What the heck? Okay, he's basically a one-man boy band, kind of, right? Jiminy Christmas. Good idea, I guess. Kind of interesting form of puppetry. Take a look at that mural up there. Right away I see Willie Nelson right there in the center, along with a whole host of other characters. Madonna, Uncle Sam, Bette Midler, Frankenstein's monster, the Mona Lisa, there's Hank Williams, the Beatles. Hey, look, it's Elvis. If you're wondering what's inside, it's kind of a crazy costume type shop. Wow, that's great. Everything from Wonder Woman to whatever this is all about. Al Bundy, AC Slater, Fresh Prince. Oh, I love that movie. And of course, Teen Wolf. Wacky suit. I do love these old vintage signs though. Look at that pizza guy. Alright, now let's move along to a place that has a lot of Willie history. Or used to. So now there's a giant high-rise right here at 505 Barton, but back in 1970 this was an abandoned armory. And some guys that were, there was basically a club called the Vulcan Gas Club that people were going to, and it had closed down. And so these guys were looking for a new place to throw shows, saw this abandoned armory that used to be here, and decided, hey, we should go in and see what it looks like. And they went in, looked around, and they figured, hey, we could turn this into some sort of rock club. And they wanted, since it was an armory, they wanted some sort of mascot that kind of reflected that, so they called it the Armadillo. Affectionately became known as the Dillo, or Armadillo World Headquarters, because they said the building itself had an arch to it and it kind of looked like it used to be a headquarters of something. So they turned it into basically like a hippie rock venue, and people like Captain Beefheart and Frank Zappa and Bruce Springsteen even performed here. But the real turning point came in 1972 because Willie Nelson, like I mentioned, had decided to kind of give up on Nashville for a while. He was even offered by the Rolling Stones to go out and open their tour, and he just said, no, I want to like do a grassroots style movement and just see what happens if we play through Texas. Just me and the band playing beer joints and just see what happens. And first it started out as like 15, 20 people would come. Then the next time they'd come through, there'd be like 50 or 70, and it just kept growing. But when they came to the Armadillo the first time, this was like a hippie club, and this place was known for allowing people to smoke marijuana inside, and for some reason the cops never raided it, even though it was known for that. Now this place became so big and so popular, they said they were selling more Lone Star beer here than they were selling at the Astrodome. And in 1972, Willie came here. He was the very first country act to perform here, and he got a huge response by the crowd. It was a mix of rednecks and hippies, as he said, and he said it was just everybody having fun. Before you knew it, you saw old people that were like working at the gas station told you they were coming to the show. And he decided, you know, since he had had rough luck in Nashville, this was really taking off for him, so he invited one of his best friends, Waylon Jennings, to come perform here as well. Now Willie knew Waylon was onto something, and he wasn't having luck in Nashville either, so he said, I think you should come down here and play this place. I think you might have good luck. They knew each other back from Phoenix when they were playing. Willie was playing at Mr. Lucky's. We actually talked to Bob, who owned Mr. Lucky's, and Waylon was playing at JD's, but they knew each other very well, so they had been friends throughout their whole time. And Willie even said, Waylon and I are like an old married couple. We don't see eye to eye on anything, but we get along, and I love to needle him. I'll do anything I can to get under his skin, and Waylon's an easy guy to get under his skin. So Willie told him, hey, come out here and play this place, this Armadillo World Headquarters. You're gonna have great luck here. So Waylon brought his band down, and as soon as he walked in, he saw the crowd. He looked at his roadie and he said, why, that red-headed SOB, go find him. What's he gotten me into? Now this whole parking lot right here in front of it would have all been part of that armory, part of the Armadillo World Headquarters. And so Waylon played his first show here, and he had the same response. And Jesse Coulter was performing here with him, and that was really what started. Not only they credit the Austin music movement, what that Austin sound was, it was Waylon and Willie and that country sound, but they also credit that as becoming the beginning of the Outlaws. And they put this Outlaws album out. It was Tom Paul Glaser, Willie Nelson, Waylon Jennings, and Jesse Coulter all doing songs, all compiled, and it was huge. This finally gave all those country musicians the acknowledgement, the record sales that they had so long been hoping for and that they so rightfully deserved. It finally started to happen here in Austin at the Armadillo World Headquarters. Too bad. It only lasted 10 years, I said, throughout the entire history of the club. It was never well managed, always on the verge of bankruptcy, and then had a 10-year span, and eventually it closed down in 1980, and they bulldozed the building. So now let's head off and see the Willie Nelson statue here in Austin. So now we're heading over the Colorado River. That's right, he's even got a street named after him here in Austin. Now the statue is actually right here in front of the Austin city limits, and you can see here it says the longest running music series in American television history. ACL recorded its first program with Willie Nelson in October of 1974 at KLRU TV at the University of Texas, showcasing roots music, legends, and innovative popular music from every genre. ACL became a music icon and helped build Austin's reputation as the live music capital of the world. So, as you walk over here, you see this great statue to Willie. Kind of amazing that later on in life he would basically have the IRS come up after him and take everything. He had bought a country club, so he had his own golf course at one point, and they tried to take that, so he was setting up a sale with Darrell Royal, the former football coach at University of Texas, and basically had found a way to sell it to him. Darrell had borrowed money from like a booster and bought Willie's golf course, but then when the IRS found out, they kind of figured that what the deal was because of the price. Willie himself in interview says, yeah, I gave him a fair price on it. Well, they kind of figured out it was a little too fair, and so they decided to nullify the sale, give Darrell Royal back his money, and then sell it to someone else. And then a few years later, when Willie was back on his feet, he ended up buying the golf course back. So really cool statue. They got him sitting on his stool here. It's a great statue. Here you can see they're gonna have Johnny Lang, Pat Green, Robert Earl Keen. Oh, nice. He's definitely a acquired taste. Robert Earl Keen is, I believe, the uncle of Johnny Knoxville, and he writes some pretty out there country songs. You should check him out. And then right over here by Austin City Hall, you don't want to miss this. The Austin Rock Store. That thing is a guitar pick. Dime is in Dimebag Darrell. They have a saying here, keep Austin weird, and they are. Now we're gonna go see another famous Austin statue. Down at the end of this walkway, they have a statue to someone who was born in Dallas, but is heavily tied to Austin's music scene. Stevie Ray Vaughan, man who wrote Texas Flood. And great tradition. This was another one of those stories where two brothers that both were playing music, and Stevie's brother Jimmy gave him a guitar, and a year later Stevie could play Hendrix and all of his guitar heroes. Just, that's a guy who, when you hear him play, he's just destined to be a guitar player. Look at him. Wow, that is great. Look, you can see people have put flowers in his hand. And there he's got his Stratocaster right by his side. That's really great. What a great statue. And then they have his shadow overcast as part of the statue. Man, they did such a great job with this. Now I want to go check out, they have one more Willie Nelson mural, and then I want to go see something that I've wanted to see for a long time. Back over the Colorado River again. It says ping pong till the cows come home. They said Waylon and Willie and all those guys, when they used to hang out, they would all play ping pong all night long. So you can see over here in this parking lot, this wall mural behind has two Texas music legends. Gone too soon, Janis Joplin, who passed away not too far from where I live in Hollywood. She was born and raised out here. What a great set of vocals on her, huh? And then of course, kind of an 80s era looking Willie. They love him here. You got to. You got to. The guy's got so much character. You know, we did the vlog not too long ago on his home in Abbott. So Abbott was about, I don't know, 2.5 hours north of here. Great mural. Now let's go see a mural that has a historical landmarker status, and it was painted by the musician who used it for his album cover. Now we're heading to an area they call the Drag. It used to be an old record store here. Well, here it is, the Hi How Are You by Daniel Johnston. This used to be on the Sound Exchange wall. This used to be Sound Exchange Records right here. And then it was a restaurant, and I believe the restaurant may have closed. Now, this was a 10-year anniversary celebration of his album coming out, Hi How Are You. He put this out in 1983, and then in 1993, they had him come back and do this again because by that point, his name had kind of spread around, and Kurt Cobain was actually wearing this shirt in a lot of interviews during his In Utero tour. Now, how Daniel Johnston became paired up with Austin was he came out here in 1985 and was performing around, and nobody really was noticing at first, and then he mailed off some of his homemade cassettes. You see, he wasn't ever trained in any way, but he could play piano and he could write songs, and throughout his whole life he had a tape recorder, like a video recorder, and he would video himself doing bizarre things his whole life, all of his creative arts. Well, at one point in his life, the arts would become a little too artistic, and they would realize that this wasn't just an artist. He actually was suffering from schizophrenia and was bipolar, and he would have a lot of different episodes where he would kind of flip out at different times, and even through all that, he could still write these gorgeous songs. Most of his love songs anyway were written about a girl that he knew in college that he never dated named Lori. He would have this fascination with Lori and would always use her as his kind of his muse. So he would kind of get noticed in 1985 when MTV would come through and film their TV show The Cutting Edge, and they would film him performing, and people would immediately gravitate towards him. So he would usually perform just him and a guitar, like an acoustic guitar, and he would get so into it that he would end up a lot of times just closing his eyes and crying and singing through the whole thing. And then they would say, you looked around the room, and the entire room, people were all crying. He had this magic, this weird magic, but he just had a lot of, you know, times where he wasn't taking medication, where he wandered off and got arrested. He had times where his father was a pilot, and his father was flying him to an award show here in Austin, and Daniel basically pushed him out of the way and grabbed the controls and started steering them down and crashed the plane. Now, he sadly ended up dying about, not quite a year ago, about 6 months ago. They believe of a heart attack. He was 58, but boy, what a songwriter. Now, it's not for everyone, because like I said, he was not a trained musician in any way. A lot of it is, you know, kind of bare bones or kind of almost demo quality, but that's what people loved about him, and that's what I loved about him, is that his songs, the honesty poked through, even the fact that a lot of those recordings were done right literally onto boom boxes. You can still hear the beauty in that, and no matter what business comes and goes from here, they all have, you know, now got to keep this here because it's a historic landmark. Then across the street on this building, you can see they made kind of a mock one that says, "Doing just fine. Want to join us for Mass?" Now, what's funny is the business that was once here named themselves after that. It was Thai How Are You? So no more Thai restaurant here, but right around the corner, that mural lives on. Now, if you're wondering why the frog or what this was all about, Daniel, throughout all of his art, see, beyond being a musician, he was a talented drawer, and he would draw and create his own characters, and this was Jeremiah the Innocent. This was one of his characters. He would put his personalities into the characters that he drew, and you can still find his artwork is out there. It goes for kind of high dollar, but he created all kinds of characters, devil characters and cyclopses and all kinds of things that all represented the personalities or things that he experienced inside of his mind. All right, my friends, we're gonna call it a day. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed what you saw of Austin. We'll see you all next time. Have a great night, and goodbye.